Go ahead, I went, I went to, we all, the three of us went to St. John's, and then I went to Peabody High, and Marie continued on to, St. John's had a high school for girls at that time, she went there, and Jimmy went to Peabody High, and then I went on to Bentley, and Marie went to Salem, what is now Salem State University, and Jimmy went to Lowell Tech, which was, now it's the University of Lowell, and he went for a couple of years, and he dropped out, and then Jimmy kind of floundered around, he could drive me, but took Jimmy a long time to put things together, you know. He finally, you know, did get his degree. I mean, he went nights to Suffolk after he, I guess, I don't know, he finally, it was after he was married, I guess, that he, you know. But but then I went, trying to think, well, I don't know, and at the time I was going to Peabody High, it was the time of big football at Peabody. That was 1944, Peabody won the state championship, and I mean, they would play their home games at Manning Bowl, which at that time would hold like 23,000 people. And Peabody, and the population of Peabody was 18,000, and there'd be 23,000 at the games, at the home games at Manning Bowl, you know. And they played Salem for the state championship in Manning Bowl, and on December the 15th it was freezing over there, you know. And then in 1945 they only lost one game, and but football was a big thing in Peabody and all these towns around here, Salem and Lynn Classical, Lynn English. They talk about, you know, Harry Aganis and Harry Aganis, the Golden Greek they used to call him, and Classical, and he went on to be at Boston University and was a star up there in both football and baseball, and then he played for the Red Sox, played first base for the Red Sox, you know. And then his life was shot, and he died as a very young man, as on just caught the you know, something, and died very young. And but now there's, you know, high school football in Peabody around here is just, you know, just doesn't amount to much, but it was the thing in those days, you know. But politics was always big in Peabody. In fact, Walter Winchell said once on national radio, if he compared it to Chicago's politics, and so I know I was very friendly with Frankie O'Keefe, who's was a class president in his junior and senior year. He was a good friend of mine, and in high school, you know, high school politics, and he went on to the University of Massachusetts, and he went on to be big name now, and gave $1 million to Peabody High for scholarships. There's 10 scholarships that come out in his name at the University of Massachusetts every year from donations he's made at PBI. And so his uncle was mayor for 3 terms, and his father was my godfather, and his father and mother introduced my mother and father together. You know? And, so so I'm trying to. I spent a lot of time in that. My father was a manager in the in the Salem store of a chain shoe store for years, and he had me down there, particularly during the war years when you couldn't get help, and doing just about everything. I mean, I was just a young, 13 and 14 years old. He had me doing just about everything. And so which I learned a lot of. I mean, I learned a lot of accounting and things that, like perpetual inventories. When I got to Bentley, I had already when I studied it, I already knew it from picked it up myself. And so you have any? Do you want to go any other avenues? Or?
I think we can kind of jump ship a little bit, go in a different direction. Do you have any stories you want to tell about? Maybe I remember when we were talking at Morris's graduation, you talked about like how you met Grammy, or any stories about my dad or Uncle Paul or Uncle John.
Well, on your grandmother, I had a good friend by the name of Morris Maroney, who was a great dancer and a ladies' man, and I had a car, and Morris was always wanted somebody with a car, and so he was dating Claire Mackerel, and so Jean, your grandmother, was had just finished teaching a year at Fisher's Island in New York. So anyways, I think Claire must have said to him, why don't you get a date for Jean, you know? So she said so Morris said to me, you want to go out with Jean? And I said, sure. So, so anyways, we went out on a double date, and we hit it off right away, and so anyways, we started to go out, and as I say, we hit it off, and so Morris and Claire kind of parted after a while, and we kept up, and so we courted for a couple of years, and into the second year, I asked her to marry me, and the rest is history. So we were married for 58 years, and we had 5 children, and it was we had a great marriage, and 5 good children, 5 great children, 12 grandchildren. So and had no regrets. So we had the 5 children, or 5 different personalities. We had John was an all business type fellow, and a great manager and fellow that gets things done, and the oldest one, and Paul is another manager, and Michael was CPA, and, but he, was in a serious automobile accident which took his life, and at 25 years old, and that was the biggest hit that your grandmother and I ever had in our lives. It took a long time for your grandmother to get over that one, I'll tell you. It was, and then your father, he, I think your father was probably the closest father's a man with a great heart, and I think he and I probably think a lot alike, and he and Mary are, I think, they have great hearts. They do a lot for people, and they, I think, I have a hard time saying no to anybody. It's